incredible man. I only do things incredible can. Cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do. When you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I am still on beat. Showing love to the streets. Come on, you know me. Cause that's who I am.
And welcome to the Witherspoon Insurance of Selby pregame show on this October the 28th, 3 days before the spookiest night and creepiest night of the year. My favorite holiday.
Christmas?
No, Halloween.
Oh, I love your costume,
It was
JP.
Military Day.
Oh, I'm thinking about wearing it tomorrow morning, actually.
So, yes, so tomorrow morning, folks, on Listen on Radio, Dennis, and watch it online, we do wear our costumes on Halloween weekend. So JP, now, if Terry or Tom shall forget a costume, they are assigned one by JP.
Ooh.
So, make it your choice.
And JP,
make it your choice.
What are you going to dress up as?
A character I actually designed, surprisingly enough. I've done that for the past 3 years. A vampire hunter.
A vampire. Very good, JP.
Yeah, a vampire hunter.
But you know what's wrong with vampires?
What's wrong with vampires?
They suck.
Yes, I know that. The only downside is I'm also half vampire as well. That goes into a whole nother story, so
we won't go there.
No, trust me. It takes me too long to explain, but I'm a vampire hunter who's also a half vampire. So
I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry, folks.
This is a football show.
This is the Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby, North Carolina Prep Football pregame show. Believe it or not, folks, if you are listening on radio or watching live on YouTube, you can watch live on YouTube this show, the RedTube channel.
Yeah.
RedTube. The Red Zone channel on YouTube.
Red Zone.
Yeah, the Red Zone channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
And this game on YouTube, and this show on YouTube, and then the post-game show on YouTube. And then tonight we've got Shelby and Burns live from Burns live
All
on
right.
YouTube.
We get to see Tom Cinefunny without his costume.
Yes, I guess he might be wearing one up there.
You never
know. Then we've got Cherville tonight hosting Bessemer City here on WCSL.
Big rivalry.
The big game, first place conference-wise 1A seeding. So that's two first-place 1A conference-wise seeding games. Kings Mountain at Crest tonight on WOHS.
Tonight? Are they playing that game?
That's three, count them, conference championship games. Number one seeds on the line tonight, Dennis.
And we'll give you a breakdown on all of those.
And then let's see what else we got. How about East Lincoln hosting North Lincoln on KTC broadcast tonight on LincolnCounty.com.
I bet Maiden's playing tonight too.
Yeah, but we don't got them on. But you know who we do have on? Chase at RS Central.
Ooh, Rutherford County Smash Mouth football.
At RS Central tonight on WAGY. And we'll have good games tonight across the board. We've got Power Poll updated tonight. We've got updated standings. We've got games across the board. Welcome, Dennis. Shannon will be joining us here in just a few moments, just a little bit.
Can I take a moment of personal time here? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kevin.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Welcome to the old men's club.
Thank you. We'll talk about this a little bit later. I have a special, Dennis. Can you believe this or not? I have a special singer coming in tonight to sing just to me.
Andre?
Close. I tell you what, you're closer than you think, but it's not. It isn't Andre. It's not Will. But I will have a special guest tonight. It's going to come in later. Not Amy.
Hip hop.
Maybe I can't.
Rap?
I can't say.
Country.
Country rap is what it is. But Dennis, we're gonna have some fun tonight. Yes, it is. And that is one of the reasons I make them dress up on Halloween, because it is my 40th, my birthday weekend. So on Halloween weekend, we usually have some fun, and in one way or another, one of the guys. So Saturday morning, folks, watch us live. We'll go back over the scores here. Then we'll talk Major League Baseball playoffs, NASCAR playoffs, the start of the NBA season. We'll talk about Dennis's Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
First place if they win Sunday.
I tell you what.
First place if they win Sunday. And it's all because there's an App State person in charge now.
Right.
Now watch it all go in flames down now I said that. But so far, so good on that one, right?
Well, I got a question for you. They were on celebrating all the people who graduated from the App State School of Broadcasting. And I know John Carter, and there was some bunch of other famous people. Did you happen to attend that broadcasting school?
No, yes, I did, but they don't know.
Well, I went to App, and I didn't go there. And here we are on the radio.
I was told that I would never have any type of career because of my accent. And
oh, really?
I told them I could change it, but they didn't care. Yeah.
No.
They didn't like that. They put it this way. There was some.
Well, anyway.
The TV guy, I'll put it this way. The TV department, Dennis, guys, were fantastic. I'll give those guys credit. The radio guys up there were a little lacking. I'll throw them under the bus.
Yeah, well, back years ago.
Now, not the sports radio guys. Those guys are really good and really cool. But as far as the school department, those guys. But the video guys were awesome guys.
Well, I used to listen to that station a little bit back when I was a student up there, and that was in the period when they just played an album and went out and smoked something for about an hour and came back.
Yeah, it was in the school studios when I was there. Now, I didn't do any of the school radio, but I did work at the local country station. I worked the NASCAR races and all that up there for them.
Okay.
But that was fun. All right, guys, we've got games, and I'm going to pull those up here in just a minute. Dennis, we've got Power Poll. Let's real quick go over. Let's see what I'm the least prepared for. How about
let's just tell them who's playing tonight.
We could do the games. Let me pull it up this way. This will be the quickest way for me to do that. How about this? Yep, you're right. Just start reading the games there, and I'll get that going here.
All right. As you mentioned, we've got the rivalry of Gaston County here tonight. The Bessemer City Yellow Jackets taking on the Cherryville Ironmen.
The biggest little football rivalry in the state.
There you go.
That's how you say it. So,
and, it's predicted this game's going to be even.
Even what?
No, that the score will be even. They're not picking a winner one way or the other.
Who's not?
Well, some of these high-paid, fancy, computer-generated score things, they call this one even. I don't think so. I think Cherryville's going to win it, but I'll talk about it later.
That must have came from you said a computer did that? That makes sense.
Well, there's a guy that's punching the computer, but it just tells him what he wants.
So just nobody's going to win this game. Well, Dennis, you know what that means?
It's a tie.
The computer's wrong.
It's not the only one.
Go ahead.
Thomas Jefferson Griffons are playing the
that is Corvion Community Cardinals. Yes, not one of our local teams that we do too
that
much.
Same computer favors them over Thomas Jefferson by one.
Corvion hasn't done
anyway,
that well.
Highland Tech's playing East Gaston Warriors. Mountain Island Raptors are playing the Lake Norman Charter Knights. The West Caldwell Warriors are taking on the East Burke Cavaliers. The Maiden Blue Devils are taking on one of their arch rivals, Newton Conover Red Devils. We've got the Christ the King Crusaders playing Bishop McGinnis Villains. Mountain Heritage Cougars are playing the Drone Wildcats. Pine Lake Prep is playing the community school of, what is that?
Davidson,
yeah. And we've got the Carver Yellow Jackets playing the Winston-Salem Prep Phoenix. We've got the East Wilkes Cardinals playing the Starmount Rams. The Andrews Wildcats are playing the Murphy Bulldogs. And somewhere over in Lawndale, the Shelby Golden Lions and the Burns Bulldogs are going to play. And you can watch it right here on the YouTube with Tom Sinofani and Matt Royster.
Mm-hmm.
You got
and hold on. And Jeff Jones.
And Jeff Jones.
Hey. And Brent Pasco.
Okay.
Pasco will be the special sideline video coordinator and reporter tonight. So we've got he is in a dual special role. He'll be roaming the sidelines with our action camera, showing all the zoom ins of the faces when the kids when they do good and stuff.
I'm in awe, Kevin. You must be like the United Nations. You have brought the two Shelby guys,
yes,
and the two Burn guys
yes,
together to work the same game.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be something going down in Lawndale tonight.
Cut somebody.
Yeah, somebody going to get cut. The Chase Trojans are taking on RS Central. Paul Foster going to cover that for us.
No, Paul is out again this week. So Chip, no, I didn't lost his name. I just saw it a minute ago. But Chip and Jonathan Bland, I'll give you that.
But WAGY, right?
Yes, and then we will have highlights of that game with Tanner Halbert. We'll have highlights of our broadcast game there in Rutherford County. So
Hendersonville Bearcats and the Patton Panthers, the Brevard Blue Devils, Polk County Wolverines, Bandy's Trojans and the Bunker Hill Bears, the Lincoln County Wolves, and the West Lincoln Rebels. That'll be a slobber knocker.
Yes, that will be. We will have highlights of that game tonight, brought to us by Mason Beams. And Mason will be over at that one. I've got that wrong on our scoreboard. It's at Lincoln. It's west at Lincoln, I believe. So
okay.
I want to make sure I do say that for the folks watching on YouTube right now.
East Henderson Eagles are playing Smoky Mountain Mustangs. Tuscola Mountaineers are taking on the West Henderson Falcons. The North Henderson Vikings are playing the Pisgah Bears. The Asheville Cougars are playing the Inca Jets. The Owen Warhorses are playing the Madison Patriots. The Robinson Bulldogs are playing the Mount Pleasant Tigers.
That's tight writing there.
Yeah, and over in the suburbs of Bowling Springs, not Shelby, Bowling Springs, the Kings Mountain Mountaineers are playing the Crest Chargers.
All right.
This is for a conference championship, the number one seeding. If Kings Mountain wins, they deserve to be the number one undefeated ranked team in Western North Carolina. However, the Chargers are not having any of that. They want to beat them and turn into a three-way tie for first place. And then what happens, Kevin? Stay tuned tomorrow afternoon when the seedings come out and find out.
I don't know. I think Coach, I think Coach said something about them maybe using the max preps, but ratings on that, or not sure. That may be a conference-wise decision. Yeah. I guess maybe some conferences draw straws or flip coins or whatever they need to do, but we'll figure that out.
Well, that coin flipping don't work too good. I mean, like Shelby beat RS Central Middle School this week.
There's no three-sided coins.
28, no. And not unless you've got something in your pocket that we don't know about. Shelby beat RS Middle School 28-0. The Crest team, which was tied for first, didn't even get to play because only two teams could play. So I'm not a big fan of that coin flipping, three-way, eliminate you don't get to play kind of thing. Let's see, what else we got here? Oh, the Stewart, Hunter Huss Huskies are taking on the Ashbrook Greenway. That should be a good one.
They got a bell to ring over there.
Yeah, maybe they'll get their bell rung too. Stuart Tramer Storm is playing the Forest View Jaguars. Jeff, call in. Tell us how that one goes. South Point Red Raiders are taking on the North Gaston Wildcats. South Point's got some pound of flesh in that Crest and Kings Mountain game because they'd be the third team in that tie for first place if Crest should win. North Lincoln Knights are playing the East Lincoln Mustangs. The Statesville Greyhounds are playing the Hickory Red Tornadoes. The Ford Tigers are playing the St. Stephen Indians. The North Iredell Raiders are taking on the West Iredell Warriors. Watauga Pioneers are playing the Ashe County Huskies. Alexander Central Cougars are playing the Freedom Patriots. The South Caldwell Spartans are playing the High Brighton Panthers. And the Robertson Rams are playing the Franklin Patriots in a mountain clash like the Hatfields and McCoys.
Well, Dennis, I got to show you, we talked about the bell for Huss and Ashbrook. This is what they're playing for over in Cherryville tonight.
Okay.
The belt. The World Championship belt.
Woo!
Now, I don't know what young man this is that modeled this for Coach Pruitt. This is Coach Pruitt's Twitter feed here. So let's get there we go. A good shot of the belt there. So that is the Cherryville logo there on the belt. Winner gets to put their own logo on the belt. Dennis, keep it till next year. Wear it around school. Put it. I guess do whatever they want to do with it.
They could bring it over here, and we could display it with all our fine memorabilia.
Whoever wins tonight should bring it by the office and let us hold it. That would be a good thing to sit right there.
I'd like to see a picture of you wearing that Cherryville belt.
Bringing it by. All right, so JP, let's take a quick break and get reorganized for just a second, and then when we come back, we're going to talk some more football here on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
If you are a Class A CDL driver, listen up. Auto Parts You Pull in Shelby and Lincoln, they've got a job for you. They are now in need of a Class A CDL driver for local runs. You'll be paid by the load. For more information, call Auto Parts You Pull at 704-472-4666. Again, 704-472-4666. Call today. Go to work tomorrow at Auto Parts You Pull. 1025 County Home Road in Shelby and 851 Car Farm Road in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too. Is your car's windshield cracking you up? If so, you need to see the windshield doctor. That's Carolina Auto Glass at 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Carolina Auto Glass can handle all of your insurance claims. Shop local. Deal with Carolina Auto Glass. They do free estimates on site. Just call 704-480-1885 for Carolina Auto Glass. Located at 408 South Post Road in Shelby. Open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, where you get safety and satisfaction. Online at carolinaAutoglass.net and see their page at whatsupshopper.com. Celebrating lives and healing grieving hearts. That's the theme of the Stamey Tysinger Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Falston and the Stamey Cherryville Funeral Home on Dixie Street in Cherryville. Their staff is committed to providing your family with the highest quality care and service in your time of need. For more information, visit the websites at StameyTysingerFuneralHome.com and StameyCherryvilleFuneralHome.com, both giving you the gift of comfort for you and your family. You will want to be at Patriots Park in Kings Mountain Friday, October 28th and Saturday, October 29th, as the city of Kings Mountain celebrates the 83rd anniversary of the theatrical release of The Wizard of Oz. Kings Mountain will host The Wonderful Adventure to Oz, transforming Patriots Park into the Land of Oz. Journey down the Yellow Brick Road, meet your favorite Oz characters, and trick or treat along the way.
It's you, my pretty.
At 6:30 p.m. on Friday, October 28th, there will be an outdoor screening of The Wizard of Oz. And Saturday, October 29th, the Liberty Falls Amphitheater will become Emerald City as the Band of Oz performs at 6:30 p.m. Admission is free, and there will be candy, costume contest, photo opportunities, and more. So come celebrate. There's no place like Halloween in Kings Mountain. For more information, visit kingsmountainevents.com/adventure-2-Oz or call Special Events Department 704-730-2101.
Full Throttle Power Sports in Gastonia has just gotten a whole lot bigger, and we mean a whole lot bigger. They have just purchased MS Power Sports in Gastonia and are now your dealer for Honda, Suzuki, and Kawasaki, along with CF Moto, Yamaha, and Polaris. Golf carts, too. One big dealer under one big roof, plus a complete parts and service department. Full Throttle Power Sports, 101 Indian Walk off I-85 in Lowell, online at ncfullthrottle.com, and see their page at whatsupshopper.com.
And we're back on the Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby pregame show. Wow, they got me on the big screen this time. I don't like it. I like where you can barely see me.
Well, good evening, JP.
Or not see me at all.
I'll just take you right off the screen.
Get
off my screen. Well, good evening, everybody. Let's talk a little football. We got top tens. We got Max Preps rating. We got standings and more. Let's pull up some of those there, Dennis. Or was you asking me something just now that we need to talk about? Or are we good to go to this? We go to the 1A ratings here?
Yeah, that'll be fine. Or, polls are like belly buttons. Everybody's got one. It don't matter.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what you were asking me about.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I saw some funny ratings in the poll, and I was trying to determine what was the source of that. Now, here's the man himself, Shannon. He'll know.
He's the king of knowing funny polls and
he knows all about them funny polls,
funny ratings.
Yeah, we were talking about a poll off the air that had ratings for the 3A schools, and it had like Crest in the top 10, and it had them ranked higher than East Lincoln. And I'm scratching my head. Do you remember which poll it was or what the source of that was?
Hold on. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on. I saw one on Facebook that had Crest, and I think Crest was ranked 6th, maybe.
Yeah,
and East Lincoln was
7th or 8th.
7th or 8th. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who does that one.
I had no idea. It could have been. A Shannon Allen poll. I didn't know.
Charlotte Observer.
That'd have been higher. East Lincoln wouldn't have been on it.
That was the Charlotte Observer.
Was that the Observer?
Oh, Langston.
See,
Words.
I think that's more of a popularity thing.
I don't take that paper, so I don't get all that inside information from Mr. Wirtz. But anyway,
I'll pull that up actually here in just a second. Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah,
their politics is much too liberal for me.
You want to see?
Well, either one, too. But there's 3A. Okay. Yeah, Crest was 8th. East Lincoln was 10th. That's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How do you rate
a
team that's given up 4 points a game?
I know.
10th.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question.
4 points. Look, it's not that they're 9-0, Dennis, and they've given up like 20 points a game, and they're not playing nobody. 10th, and they've given up 4 points a game. Go ahead.
Well, there's also this Eastern bias you get in these polls. Shannon, you can speak to that. But
the Charlotte Observer, Raleigh News Observer.
Yeah, Northern Nash, 71st. South Point's in there at 4th. I think that's legitimate. Havelock. Everybody and their brother seems to beat Havelock this year. They're not what they used to be. J.H. Rose, Dudley was a great team last year. Not much this year. Shannon, you're the in-depth expert on some of these out-of-town teams. What's your thoughts?
Well, I think Dudley, I know they've lost some games, but they pretty much got their whole team back from last year. I don't know why they're struggling. As far as Northern Nash and 71st, that's in Fayetteville. I have no clue about those two between Kings Mountain and South Point. But again, it's a popularity thing. I think it's more or less. I'm not saying it's what they did last year. That would be my only thing or my only reasoning. Because if you go to the 2A polls, it's just as it's just like that. They had Burns first. Shelby may have been 5th, and then Chase I think was 7th. I can't remember who else was. I don't know if West Lincoln was in that one. I thought there was one more around here.
Well, I can say this, and this is regard to political polls. Don't look at any one political poll.
Yeah, there it is.
Because people
Monroe.
lie in those. But what happens, you want to look at polls from trends. What's the trend? Burns, they played pretty well. They lost one game, and that was to the number 1 3A team, Kings Mountain. Yeah. So, they deserve to be ranked there. Monroe, we know from past history, they're a good team. And I'll give Reidsville that, too. Shelby has had some problems at the first of the year, but they have come on and played well. Are they better than Chase? We'll find out. Are they better than Maiden? Once again, we'll find out. Wallace, Rose Hill, Forest Hills, I don't know about those teams.
Well, if you look at the seconds, Monroe, Reedsville, East Surrey, and Shelby, that was your quarterfinal last year in the West. 8 out of those 10 teams right there from the West. So that tells you how, if you want to look at that, those good teams, the East has nobody. The 2A champion is going to come from the western side this year because the East, they got East Duplin and Wallace Rose Hill. Wallace Rose Hill was good last year, but they lost both running backs that were really good. So,
now you can hear me. We were discussing this today, and there's going to be, once they went from 8 brackets to 4.
Yeah.
Not only is you're going to have some outstanding, what you say, the games in the second round, and you may have some even in the first round. Because you can go back to that 3A bracket, wherever that was. There we go.
Well, it's like
dogs here in a minute, Shannon. This is so you go to the 3A bracket, and so Dennis Crest may be ranked 8th there, but either them or South Point's going to be a 25 seed or 20, you know what I mean? A 23 seed.
Yeah, because you got those 11.
So which that means Kings Mountain could technically, well, no, they're going to be playing one of those, but they're going to be playing in the second round.
Yeah.
South Point or Crest or East Lincoln. You could have East Lincoln, South Kings Mountain in the second round.
Wow. That should be a championship
depending
game.
on how they draw these things up. So,
that should be the championship.
Those two won't be in the second round, but Crest, well, if Kings Mountain loses, if Kings Mountain loses tonight, any one of those 3 teams could be playing East Lincoln in the second round, maybe even first. So it's just those don't technically mean anything as far as the playoff seedings goes, folks. So just hold your horses on those. Let me pull up. We'll pull up some other things. Shannon, we've got on the broadcast tonight 5 big games. We've got a bunch of other games tonight. Besides Cleveland County, what other games that you're looking at tonight should be big games that you're interested in, Shannon? Now that you've been listening for a little bit.
Well, one game's in the 1A, and I know people's going to say what, but Pine Lake Prep and Community School Davidson.
Yeah,
that's going to be because both of those teams, you got a 9-0 versus an 8-1. I think that'll be an interesting game because Community School Davidson, I think they've got the quarterback that's throwing for over 300 yards a game. That'll be a great game. I think another interesting game is going to be the Statesville Hickory game because both of those teams are, Statesville 6-3, Hickory 7-2. That's behind. That's East Lincoln. That's behind. So the number 2 seed out of that conference, that the winner of this game will get that, or at least if Hickory wins, they're I guess they're the outright 2 seed. But if Statesville wins, that could be make it a mess there. The other game, I think. Let's see.
Chase and RS. What do you think on that one?
Chase will beat them easily. I think Lincoln, West Lincoln. That was the other one.
Okay.
I think that'll be an interesting game because, again, Lincoln's come on strong here. I think they've won their last 4 maybe or something like that, and or 5 maybe that's what it is. But they're not going to be a flashy team and beat you, but they're just going to chip away. And I think if West Lincoln doesn't put them away early and they keep Lincoln in the ballgame in the fourth quarter, that game could get interesting quick.
Well, what about Cherryville and Bessemer?
Having seen both teams play, I think Cherryville's just. I think the injury bug has really hit them. I don't know how healthy they are now. Again, but with Shelby playing Bessemer City, when I saw Bessemer, they had some spark and they've got some speed out there. And I don't know how Cherryville. I'm not saying Cherryville doesn't, but I don't know if they have enough to cover everybody that Bessemer's going to bring to the table. Plus, you got Jameer Holmes. He's the quarterback. What's he? Defensive end
and a long
snapper. He's
a Gatorade at halftime.
He should be going somewhere to play next year in college. He's a versatile player, and if he's got good grades, he could go. But I think he's going to be the X factor in that game. If Cherryville can stop him, I think they'll be okay. But that'll be the winner of that game gets the 1A. Right? If the winner gets the 1A, or if Bessemer wins, they're outright 1A or the number 1 seed out of the conference.
The Bessemer wins, they should be. Yeah, the Bessemer's the one outright because they beat Jefferson. Right. Jefferson beat Cherry. So Bessemer's in the same spot Kings Mountain is. Win, you're the champion. Right. If Crest wins, if Cherryville wins, and you have 3-way ties in those situations. So. Yeah.
Another game too. You guys were talking about was coming up here was the Corvian Community School versus Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, and Corvian's favored according to the Simmons ratings.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. It was like, They're 4-4, I think. They're 500 team. So,
but then what's Thomas Jefferson?
Thomas Jefferson, I think they've just won 2. I think just 2 games,
Yep.
but they won the last 2 they played. So I don't, they could be on a little winning streak up there, but I think that'll be an interesting game to watch, especially going into the 2A, or excuse me, the 1A playoffs. But hopefully Thomas Jefferson can win, their local team. Hopefully those kids can give Coach up there his, can't remember his name, the new coach.
I'm not familiar with him, but
he's a Burns guy, I think. But anyway, he was down at Parkwood and he came back. But anyway, if Thomas Jefferson get that win, give him 3 wins again, go into the playoffs, but that sets him up for next season too, in the weight room and in the off season. So,
what about Maiden and Newton Conover?
Again, Maiden is
prohibitive favorite.
They're obviously going to be the favorite in that one. But Newton Conover, right? You don't know. They're giving up 25 a game. Maiden, I think Maiden has too many weapons. They're just too good offensively that I don't think Newton will be able to control them. It may be close early, but I think Maiden's got that one. But there was another one I saw here as I was talking. The North Lincoln, East Lincoln. Normally that's a big game. Normally both teams are undefeated or at least lost 1 game. But now North Lincoln's limping in there. North Lincoln's looking to win because that win, I think that helps their chances of possibly getting into a playoff. So, that's going to be a big game up there in Denver, but that's the point. They're playing in Denver or at East Lincoln. So it's hard to win up there. But as Kevin mentioned a while ago, East Lincoln's only giving 4 points a game. So
and Stuart Kramer and Forest Youth for a battle.
So I listened to Dennis. Mr. Potter does an interview for the folks that want to listen to the Lincoln County game. He talks to both coaches this week at length. So from 7 to about 7:20, you're going to be hearing the coaching interviews for the most part during their pregame show. And he talks to both Coach Basil and Coach Lubowitz in this game. And Basil mentioned that he thought that East Lincoln could be one of the favorites to actually win the state and was really congratulated toward him. So that was what Coach Basil for North Lincoln was saying about the East Lincoln coach.
So, and I think the question with East Lincoln is once you get into the playoffs, sort of like Burns and Shelby, when you've went through a bunch of not so competitive games, are you prepared to battle one of those teams like we're talking about, say a South Point or a Crest or somebody that comes in there maybe seeded 24th or something?
It's going to get real quick because that's what we just talked about just a few minutes ago. Like even in the 2A, we're going to go over. I want to go over those in just a second as well. I've got the standing showing online. Looking over in that 2A, I can look at it myself. So, for example, Chase is 7th, right there. Burns and Shelby, one of them is going to be 12, 13 seed. Shannon, there's 11 teams I think in the 2A. So one of those will be 12, 13, 14. And that means they'll be hosting, if you're 14th, you're hosting the,
28th.
18th. Yeah, no. It'll be 18, 14. And you got to add up to 33. So 19. So 14 and 19.
Yeah.
So that's who you're looking at for your Shelby is hosting a 19 seed, which is another second place team. So basically, if you can remember tonight, if your team finishes in first, you'll be playing a third place team from another conference. If your team finishes in second, you'll probably be playing a second place team from another conference battle. So you're starting off, Dennis, looking over, so Statesville and Crest in round 1.
Yeah. Or it could be
or South Point and Crest. You just see what I mean?
It could be somebody, if Shelby loses tonight, Shelby going in as the second place team.
We'll see. Chase will be the 1 seed. Maine will be a 1 seed. So Bunker Hill or Hendersonville could be coming into Chase. Will be coming into Burns or Shelby in round 1.
Yeah.
Or, depending on the power rankings, with Burns and Shelby having low power rankings, maybe because of their max press. We'll pull that up in a minute, see what the RPIs say. They may be having to go to Hendersonville or Chase. So you could be Shelby at Chase round 1.
Yeah.
Shannon. Shelby at Chase round 1. Winner gets
tell me about that streak again.
Hey, winner gets Maiden round 2. Winner gets Burns round 3. Winner gets Reedsville round 4. How would you like? You tell me the 2A playoffs hadn't all of a sudden just get really tough.
Well, to your point, in 2013, I was talking to a buddy of mine, Terry Grayson, on the way up here, and 2013, Shelby did the exact same thing. They were road warriors. They went to first round. I think they played like West Wilkes or somebody. It wasn't really that good. But they beat them, but then they went to Reedsville, then they went to North Rowan, beat the brakes off both of them. And it's like, okay, this team actually just got pretty good real quick. So I think it can be done when you play that weaker conference. When, you look and say, well, they didn't play, they really didn't play that strong of a schedule. Well,
yeah, but look at their out of conference games.
Well, it counts too. But yeah, if I would hate to be, the winner, Shelby and Burns, I think both of them are in good position because imagine being a Chase, imagine being a Bunker Hill, and you've had this fantastic season, and your first round's going to be Shelby or Burns. Imagine that. That would be awful.
Hey, I didn't even mention was West Lincoln is if they're going to be a 3 seed going somewhere.
Yeah,
or Lincoln and West Lincoln. Or it was basically West Lincoln at Shelby at Burns round one.
Yeah, that would be because their record would be
West Lincoln at Burns round one.
We've been trying to get them to play.
We've been trying to get them to play forever.
And that would be, that'd be a great matchup.
They should both ride their tractors to the middle and have it out.
That'd be great. Just ride them down there.
Some were over
but
about.
Those always should be a national rivalry. Tom and Terry try to get them going on Saturdays. So I've got the RPIs up. Shannon, you want to see this?
Tractor shootout.
Burns is in way better position than Shelby is when they lose. So if Burns loses, what will probably happen? They would still get a home game round 2. Shelby might have to just go on the road the whole time. Shannon, let me pull this up for you folks at home so you can see what I'm talking about. Give me a second as I do the magic internet stuff here. So here's the RPIs and the rankings. I'm trying to make them as big as I can for you guys here. So, for example, Shelby is 17th. And that means they're behind Hendersonville, behind Chase, behind Bunker Hill. Mm-hmm. So all of those teams are in second place, way ahead of them. So if Shelby does lose tonight, you're going to Bunker Hill, you're going to Hendersonville, you're going to Chase. So round 1, just expect something like that. I mean, there's other teams on there. Monroe, you could go to them. McMichael, Providence. I'm not sure about those conferences, but I do know those other teams would be the other 2 seeds. So the 2s will probably match up in the 2s. And, of course, the 1s hosting these ones down here. So West Lincoln sitting at 23. Lincoln at 22 are battling it out. They may get 4 from that conference, Shannon. They've done it before, so hopefully they will. Hopefully we'll have all of them in there. If they do, that means they'll be playing, 8, 7, 8, 9 seeds. So they'd be going – hopefully it wouldn't make them play Maiden. So West Lincoln at Chase, Lincoln at Chase in first round.
But, Kevin, let's go back to what you said earlier. Since there are not 8 teams, divisions.
8 brackets. The big A, 2A.
We go back to 4 brackets.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you've got right off the bat some teams that are going to be slobber knockers.
Who wants to try to have to deal with Mason Avery in round 1?
Yeah.
Whether or not whatever the rest of the team or West Lincoln has, but you're going against a 2,000 or 3,000 yard rusher, and he gets all the tackles on defense. So, you just don't want to see dangerous teams like that in round 1, especially coming into your house like that. It's going to be fun next week.
Avery and Winnick, they got that other running back up there. He's going to run under 100 yards. So, yeah, I think it's going to be. I think the way the system is now, you want your team to do well, but. I like it like this because because you're not playing a Pasquotank, the first round from, you don't know where they're from, and they got 2 fans over on the side, and you beat them 60-something to nothing. Yeah. You're playing in actually a really good team first round, and
it's real playoff. If it is what you're saying,
it is real playoff. And Jeff Jones made a good point when I was going to the game last week. He and Brent were talking on the pregame show before the Shelby game, and he said, if Shelby loses, now he wasn't talking about the East Lane. He said if you beat East Gaston first, which was last week, he said, but the next week, which is tonight, he said, if Shelby loses against Burns, he's like, this could be the last home playoff game or that last home game for Shelby. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, wow, that's true. And the same goes for Crest. If Crest loses tonight against Kings
they're
Mountain,
on the road.
Yeah, that there's no more home games for them this year, I guess, unless, some miracle happens. But you talking about let's talk about 3A. You said Kings Mountain, the number 1 seed if they win tonight. Well, then you got East Lincoln. You also have West Henderson, who's undefeated. They're up in the mountains. So if those 3 teams are all win tonight, are all going to be 10-0. Who gets the nod? Who's going to be the home field advantage on that one? And
on which ones we looking at?
3A. If you go to the 3A,
I can go over to 3A
go
real quick.
RPI stuff now.
Yeah, that's what they'll do. But Kings Mountain, see, West Henderson's above East Lincoln. See, they're third.
3A for the radio folks. 3A
Tuscola?
RPIs.
Anything
Kings
about
Mountains 1, South Point 2, West Henderson 3, Ledford 4, Tuscola 5, Oak Grove 6, East Lincoln 7, West Rowan 8, Northwest Cabarrus 9, and Crest 10. Hickory down at 16, Statesville 17, Stuart Kramer 20, 21, Freedom at 22, High Brighton folks at 24, Ashbrook and Huss at 30 and 31, barely squeezing in. North Lincoln right now, folks, on the outside looking in at 34. So a big win tonight could help their cause. They do got 4 wins, though, Shannon. So,
well, based on that, Kevin, and the matchups, what do you see there? Let's say Kings Mountain's the number 1 team. We'll concede that for our purposes here. Kings Mountain's the number 1 seed.
mm-hmm.
All right. Who are they going to probably match up with?
Just
Go to 33.
yeah, Huss, Ashbrook, St. Stephen's, North Lincoln, Carson, West Mac, one of those teams.
All right. South Point. Who would they probably match up? We're just speculating.
So if they're in the 2, they would drop down to anywhere from 12 to 15 to 16 seed, which means they would be playing 17 to 20. So in that list, Statesville, West Charlotte, East Guilford, Kramer, Forsyth, and Freedom.
Yeah. Okay. Crest is let's say they lose tonight and they're the 3rd place team.
So if there's 11 conferences, 22, the top 22 seeds will be gone. So you'll have to start at 23 through 32. So somewhere in there. So you'll be playing a top 10 team. Kings Mountain, West Henderson, Ledford, Tuscola, Oak Grove, East Lincoln. That would be fun for us. West Rowan, Northwest Cabarrus, Dudley, Central Davidson, Smoky Mountain. Irwin, Irwin, you could go there.
And that would probably be on the road.
Yes, all those are definitely
would be on the
roads.
road,
There's
yeah.
no that probably.
Yeah. So if Shelby or Crest,
you
they lose
guys
tonight,
need
they're on the road.
you guys need to win tonight.
Yep.
No doubt.
If you lose, if you lose, you're on the road. The rest of the
All right, let's look at Burns and Shelby then, Kevin, with that same RPI stuff.
Let's see if I can just hit back and do it.
And we're just speculating, folks.
Yeah.
They hadn't played the games yet,
Shannon, this place is haunted according to Milton.
Got a gnat.
That's it. This is the ghost.
Stan Greer.
He's trying to bother Shannon. No Shelby stuff. So what are you asking here, Dennis? What you
All
want
right, let's run through the local teams again. Most people are interested in the Shelby and Burns situation.
They got Burns right now, right behind Pine Lake Prep and East Surrey. So,
There ain't no way.
So-
Burns beat the brakes off of those 2 teams like they were.
And
born in
Chase.
there.
now, don't forget we
Good
talk about
night.
Shelby moving up and playing 3A competition. East Surrey used to be 1A, and then they have now moved to 2A, and they went straight finals last year, West Finals last year, or semis.
Yeah.
And then now they're the number 2 overall. Pine Lake Prep's moved up; they're the 3.
Community School of
Is
Davidson
the 7. Yep,
Yeah.
above Bunker Hill. So,
Chase 10.
yeah. So Burns, Maiden, Chase is got a weak schedule, so they're going to be in the lower end of those top 11 seeds. They got them at 10 right now, so I would expect them to stay somewhere around 7, 8, 9, 10. Burns and Maiden are 4 and 5. It looks like is where they're showing them. That puts them, down here playing the East Gaston, North Stanley, Wilkes Central, Polk County at home, Brevard at home, West Stanley, Moorhead, Anson. We don't have anybody on the outside looking in. RS Central, I guess Bandy's, Newton Conover all need miracles down in the 40s. So wins tonight could go a long way.
Well, Shelby's at 17. Where would possibly they play?
So I think they'll end up if they lose. I think Dennis they'll end up in like a 13, 14, 15 spot.
Yeah.
Which would put them at
Monroe.
18, 19, 20, West Stokes, Randleman. No, 13, 14, 15. Plus it needs to get to 33, 19. Yeah. So Randleman, West Stokes, East Davidson, Mount Pleasant, all of those could be coming that way.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go over the games.
I want to see a
Ken.
Monroe Burns matchup.
Oh,
God, that would be incredible.
not first round, though.
Yeah, first. Put them on.
Oh,
Let's
first
go.
round.
Let's go.
All right. Shannon, you the man.
All right, so Dennis, I guess where do you want to start? I don't know.
Well,
We got 45 minutes here to hash this out.
I think we can talk for 45 minutes.
Yeah, we can talk about something.
Let's go ahead and start with these 1A schools, Bessemer City and Cherryville.
Okay, well, so as I mentioned a while ago, Bessemer City Jameer Holmes, that's going to be the guy that you need to look out for. But they also have wide receiver Javonte Duff. Again, Dennis, these guys are fast. Duff is quick. They got another guy that there's some speedy receivers as well. The thing about Bessemer, they're averaging 18, but they're giving up 37. But look who they've been playing, and so that's a big factor. Cherville's giving up 12 or scoring 12, giving up 35. They played the same teams, and they're right there together as far as their points go. I think Holmes is going to be as I mentioned a while ago, the X factor. I think if they can keep him in check, Cherville's got a chance, but I don't think they will. Bessemer wins 35-24 over Cherville and wins the belt.
Well, I think the problem with Cherville, and the Simmons rating has them even. I don't think they're even because of injuries.
Yeah.
I think Cherville's beaten, banged up, and Bessemer City's got this 6'5", big kid playing quarterback. He'll run the ball tonight, but he can also throw it if they're going to start closing down on him. I think it's going to be a tough battle. I think it's going to be like Bessemer City to win tonight, and I think it's going to be 34-20 in favor of Bessemer City.
All right, so the next one, Dennis has got a text from a friend of mine, Tyrese Williams. He's the uncle of Malachi Hamrick up at Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Tyrese says no matter where Shelby ends up, no 2A team wants to see him in the playoffs.
That's true.
So, Tyrese, I probably agree with you. Buddy.
Unless you're Burns.
I'm serious. Burns is good. That's going to be a great game. So, Thomas Jefferson at Corvian. TJ's averaging 16, giving up 33. Corvian's averaging 20, giving up 17. I mentioned this game a while ago. I think Corvian may be too strong for Thomas Jefferson, but I'm going with the Griffins. I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, 24-21, Thomas Jefferson.
Well, I'm not real sure about that. This Corbian, we don't know a lot about. I'm just going on what some other people have said about this, and I think they're going to be favored in this one by 14-10 over Thomas Jefferson.
All right, so it'll be a close game. Highland Tech at East Gaston. Tech winless. East Gaston 5-4. East Gaston's led by Trent Sherrill and Sir Stovall, who are they're Stovall's a pretty quick running back they have, and Sherrill throws a good ball. So I think East Gaston needs to win this game in order, and they're going to help their chances in the playoffs. So East Gaston 49, Highland Tech 7.
Well, I've got East Gaston winning, like you said, for the same reasons. Not they're a great offensive team, so I've got it 28-3 East Gaston.
28-3. All right, next game, Mountain Island Charter will be going to the Lake Norman Charter Knights.
Yeah.
And I didn't have these in the order for these games like this. So Mountain Island Charter, they're averaging 17, giving up 18. Lake Norman Charter 21, they're giving up 21.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they're coming or going. I'm going with Mountain Island Charter in this one, just for the fact that this is going to be a good game because both teams have won 4 games. Mountain Island's 4-4, Lake Norman is 4-5. But I'm going with Mountain Island. I'm going to say 28-27 over Lake Norman Charter.
Well, I'm going with Lake Norman in a close one, 21-20 over Mountain Island.
All right. West Caldwell, the West Caldwell Warriors at the East Burke Cavaliers. And let me find my sheet here. I should have put these in order. Dennis, West Caldwell, they're averaging 15, giving up 50. That right there tells you what's all going to happen. East Burke's averaging 21, giving up 30. I'm going with East Burke 35-28.
35-28 is an interesting score. I've got East Burke at 38 and West Caldwell at 21.
All right, Maiden Blue Devils at Newton Conover Red Devils. Maiden, we mentioned this a while ago. Maiden, they're averaging 39 a game. They're giving up 19. Newton Conover's averaging 31, giving up 25. Both of them, can move the ball and put the ball in the end zone, but I think Maiden's got too many weapons for Newton Conover to handle if you're Newton Conover to guard or to try to control in this game. I think Maiden wins this one big, 42-14 over Newton Conover.
Well, we're seeing things similar. I've got Maiden at 42, and I've got Newton Conover at 10.
All right. Keep going, just go down. Dennis, Christ the King, Crusaders at Bishop McGinnis. The Villains, Christ the King, averaging 19, giving up 16. Bishop McGinnis averaging 17, giving up 38. Bishop McGinnis, Dennis is ready for basketball. Christ the King, 42. Bishop McGinnis, 13.
Actually, they're pretty good at basketball.
Yeah, they're really good at basketball. They're just 1-8. Those guys have packed it up. It's over.
Okay, and what was the score that you had?
What I say, 42-14?
42-14. I'm not sure Christ the King is that powerful on the offensive side. I'm going to go with 21-14 with Christ the King.
Okay, so Mountain Heritage coming in at 4-5. Drone will be at Drone, who is 8-1, who's had a very, very good year this year. Again, these games that not local games, so we're just going to go through them pretty quick. I think Mountain Heritage needs this game to help them for the playoffs, but Drone's too good. Drone 42, Mountain Heritage 13.
Okay, I've got Drone 34. I've got Mountain Heritage 28.
All right, Pine Lake Prep will be at the Community School of Davidson. Again, this is the one game that I really think is going to be an outstanding ball game because both of these teams are identical. They're Pine Lake Prep's 9-0. Community School of Davidson is 8-1. Kevin mentioned a while ago, Pine Lake Prep's ahead of Burns in the 2A, which is a joke. But anyway, this is a game for the year of this conference. Pine Lake Prep is averaging 33. They're giving up 6. Nick Reeder, quarterback, and Noah Murphy is a running back, both averaging over 100 yards respectively. Community School Davidson, they're averaging 50 a game, giving up 15. They've got that quarterback, A.J. Suriani, who's averaging over 300 yards a game. He has 43 touchdowns. So as he goes, Community School of Davidson goes. I like Community School of Davidson in this one, 42-21.
I think the competition's a little tougher for them this week, but I still got the Community School of Davidson winning this one, 32-28.
Okay. All right, so the Carver Yellow Jackets will be at the Winston-Salem Prep Phoenix. Heads or tails, Dennis?
Well, they're both tails. Neither one of them are outstanding.
Tails are mules or whatever. So, yeah, I'm going to say Carver wins this one, I don't know, 7-6. Who knows?
Well, I was going 10-7.
Okay. So
we'll go with a little higher scoring game there.
All right, so the East Wilkes Cardinals will be at the Starmount Rams. East Wilkes comes in at 8-1. Starmount is 6-3. This is going to be a tough ball game. Yeah. Again, who's going to be coming first out of that conference? I think it looks like East Wilkes is in the driver's seat right now. I think they win this one on the road 28-24. Or I've got Starmount winning at home 28-24. I was looking at the wrong column.
Okay. Well, I've got East Wilkes winning 24-12 over Starmount.
All right, so Andrews, who is undefeated at 9-0, will be taking on Murphy, traveling to Murphy, who is 7-2. Another great ball game up there in the high country. I think for this game, you got to look at where they're playing. Murphy's tough at home. They've always been tough at home. And Murphy's they're just a different breed of players. It's going to be a close game. Murphy 28, Andrews 27.
Well, it'll be a little chilly up there tonight. So I'm going to go with Murphy at home, and I'm going to go with them about 32-28 over Andrews.
All right, Robinson Bulldogs at Mount Pleasant Tigers. I'm taking Mount Pleasant in this one. I'm 21-20 over Robinson.
Wait a minute, which game are you at?
This one down at the bottom.
Okay, you're going back up. There you go. You had me there for a moment.
Just getting these out of the way, yeah.
I like Franklin at Franklin. They're tough up there. Ask Burns how they play at home back a few years ago. I'm going with Franklin in this one, and I'm going with Franklin 34, and Roberson, I'm going with 24.
Which game was that?
Roberson versus Franklin. Isn't that what you said?
No, I meant bottom middle. But yeah, we do bottom middle.
Y'all both picked you picked Robinson, you picked Roberson. Yeah. That's the problem.
All right, so let's go Owen and Madison.
But y'all did good at both.
Okay, we'll do that.
Go right the middle there.
Let me go with Roberson and Mount Pleasant. I'm going to go with Roberson in that
Robinson.
one.
That's Robinson, yeah.
That team, it's the Bulldogs.
There you go, the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs are going to win tonight, and that's going to be 21-12.
All right. Okay, so the Owen Warhorses come in at 1-8. They will be traveling to Madison 2-7.
Yeah,
that'll be.
They're not too good this year.
Neither one of them are. Madison 21, Owen 14.
21-14.
Yep.
Well, I've got it 14-10 with Owen.
Okay. Asheville at Inca. Asheville 7-2. Inca is 3-5. I think Asheville's had a good year. They're going to be one of those playoff teams in the 3A that a lot of people are going to hate to see come to town. And again, Asheville, Coach Radford, he's a local guy from here, or he
used to coach at Crest and Chase.
Yeah, so I think Asheville, he's built a good. He's rebuilt what was torn down there before. I think Asheville wins this one, going away 42-6.
And they have some athletes, but he's not going to run up the score on anybody. I'd say 33-12 Asheville.
Yep. All right, North Henderson at 3-6 will be traveling to Pisgah. They are 3-6. Both of these teams are looking for that fourth win, possibly to help their playoff chances. I'm just going to take Pisgah at home. They're a different ball club. Pisgah 27, North Henderson 14.
Okay. Maybe they'll get their feel back in the next couple of years or be playing at Mars Hill or somewhere. But I think Pisgah is pretty tough, and I'm going to give them a score of 28, and I'm going to give North Henderson a score of 21.
All right, possibly the biggest game of the night up in the mountains. Tuscola 9-0 will be traveling to West Henderson 9-0. Again, this is in that 3A. One of these teams is obviously not going to be undefeated after tonight, so that'll be left with East Lincoln, Kings Mountain, and then one of these one of these two teams. I think West Henderson's tough at home. They destroyed Hendersonville earlier this year, which I think really opened a lot of eyes. West Henderson wins at home 28-24 over Tuscola.
Well, the Tuscola mascot looks a lot like the mascot from Appalachian, Kevin.
Yeah, it looks like the original one.
Yeah.
Joseph. And so I've got Tuscola beating West Henderson by score 32-28.
All right, East Henderson 2-7. We going to Smoky Mountain 5-4.
Shannon, I know multiple people with that tattoo on their leg.
Oh, what are you talking about? The Tuscola, the Mountaineer.
The Mountaineer. And one of them even has a cat square tattoo on the other leg. That's how tough he is.
Tough or redneck?
Carry on.
Tough or redneck?
Carry on. Carry on. Tough.
Actually, Kings Mountain, they
don't talk about our one of our announcers.
I think Kings Mountain. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I didn't know Jeff Jones had tattoos. That's why I said.
He's a Tar Heel if Jeff's got one.
All right. So no. Anyway, okay. Let's go on. East Henderson at 2-7 will be going to Smoky Mountain 5-4. Smoky Mountain's looking for that 6th win to secure a good seeding, possibly in the a good seeding in the playoffs. East Henderson just having a down year. Smoky Mountain should win this one 24-6.
Well, I've got Smoky Mountain winning at 24-14.
All right, so now we're getting to our local games here. Lincolnton will be traveling to West. Is it? I thought they were playing it.
It's at Lincoln. I've got that one is reverse. Is wrong.
Okay, West Lincoln 7-2 going to Lincoln 5-4. West Lincoln, they're averaging 42, giving up 19. As Kevin mentioned a while ago, Mason Avery's their bull up there. He's averaging 231 yards a game, and then Jalen Winnick is averaging right under 100 yards a game on the ground. Lincoln comes in averaging 20, giving up 22. This game will possibly be for third place in that conference. The thing about it, I don't know if Lincoln will be able to contain Avery. I think they've had some success, but I think Avery and Winnick will shut the door on them tonight. I like West Lincoln 42-27.
Terry Reinhardt, I hope you're listening. I've got the West Lincoln Rebels winning tonight 48-14 over the Lincoln Wolves.
All right, so Bandy's at 4-5 will be going to Bunker Hill 8-1. I don't think this game is going to be lopsided by any stretch of the imagination. Bandy's comes in averaging 27, getting up 29. Bunker Hill's averaging 33, giving up 22. I'm gonna go with Bandy's in this one because I think they really need this win, and I think they'll just play harder in Bunker Hill. And I think Bunker Hill, they've skirted the. I think the fiasco they have in Lincoln, where pretty much Lincoln got robbed on that game. So I'm going with Bandy's. I'll just leave it at that, and I think Bandy's is going to win 28-21.
Well, I have to turn to my trusty KTC Broadcasting poll, which has Lincoln ranked 18th and has Bunker Hill ranked 7th. So I'm going in this case with Bunker Hill. 32-30 over Bandy's.
All right, Brevard at 4-5 will be traveling down to Polk County 5-4. In the conference play, both teams are 3-2. If Polk County wins, their overall record will advance to 6-4. If Brevard wins, they'll go to 5-5. Brevard's averaging 24, giving up 20. Polk County is led by Angus Weaver, who's averaging 170 yards on the ground. I've seen that kid play, and he's not big at all, but he is so hard to bring down. The Wolverines are averaging 33, but they're giving up 27. But Polk County plays better at home than they do on the road. Polk County 28, Brevard 21.
Well, I'm agreeing with you. Coach Ollis will bring the inspiration to Polk County Wolverines tonight, and they will beat the Brevard Blue Devils by a score of 34-28.
And just remember, if Polk County is probably going to be the third place team in that conference behind Chase and Hendersonville, if Polk County comes around here, because at Chase game, when I was doing the radio up there, they were ahead at halftime, and all because of Angus Weaver. They could not stop him. And so they're not a bad team. They're not big. But they're very physical. They're extremely physical. So look out for Polk County. All right, Hendersonville, 7-2. We'll be traveling to Patton at 1-8. And this game is over right now. Yeah. And
they hadn't got off the bus yet, but it's over.
Hendersonville's averaging 37, getting up 16. They have a quarterback, Leonard Benfield, and Hezzy Rudisell, their running back. I know Coach Soseby over at Crest is real big on Hezzy Rudisell, their running back. He said he's maybe one of the best, that he's had. I heard him say that one time. But Patton's averaging 14, giving up 42. Hendersonville wins big, 49-0.
Well, I was a little more generous. I've got Hendersonville winning 48-6.
48-6. Chase at 9-0 will be traveling to RS Central 4-5. Big Rutherford County rivalry game here. Chase comes in averaging 51. They're giving up 10. People need to understand this is not the same Chase team as that they've had in years past. This team is big, physical, and extremely fast when they get around the edge. RS Central comes in averaging 27. They're giving up 33. I think Central playing at home will keep it close. Because they're better at home. They'll have a big crowd out there for RS. Again, it'll be a rivalry game that these fans will come out and support them. But I think Trojans are going to have too much, and they'll pull away in the end. Chase 49, RS 28.
Well, when that big wooden horse pulls up to the gates up there at the Palace, it's going to be Chase 44, RS Central 18.
All right. And the next game, Shelby at 6-3 will be traveling to Burns 8-1. Probably one of the biggest games in 2A
in the state.
Yeah, this week. Win from Burns, they get a high seed in the playoffs. While Shelby will more than likely not get a home playoff game if they lose. A Shelby win would get the Lions a pretty favorable seed in the playoffs. It won't be extremely high, but you'll at least get a home playoff game. This game I think this game is going to be where both quarterbacks. I think the quarterbacks are going to do well. Ben Mooney for Burns, Dalen Lee for Shelby. It's going to come down to which one has the better line.
What about defense?
I ain't got that for you.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking. Well, no, that's what I'm talking about. So Burns' offensive line versus Shelby's defensive line. That's going to be your question there. Can Burns, can they stop the big defensive line from Shelby? Burns has had trouble in the past. Not this in this game, but in this year. But they did play well against Watauga. Watauga was extremely big. So, which Burns team is going to show up, especially on the front? Burns defense, they're just very physical. They're extremely tough. Shelby is fast on defense. Excuse me. I don't know. It's going to be a close game, and I'm not going to pick a winner in this one. But I think, but the one thing that another thing we got to look out for here in Cleveland County, and I don't know if it's been the same in Gaston, Kevin, or Lincoln, the flu bugs around everywhere.
Yeah.
So you got kids who've been sick all week. They talk about not having a JV game last night, but they did. So that's going to be a factor. Which kids are going to be out there, which kids are not. I'm not making excuses for anybody. You play who you play, but that's going to be a factor if the kids do play, or they. Got to stay hydrated and things like that. But it's going to be probably one of the better games, one of the better games this year, obviously.
Well,
Shannon's chicken as always. Go
I'm
ahead.
not chicken, man. I'm smart.
Steve DeGree's going to come by and beat him up. Anyway, I think that Shelby's record is deceptive. They are better than their record. But so is Burns. The only team they lost to was Kings Mountain. And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
And so in a close slobber knocker tonight at Lawndale, I'm going with the Burns Bulldogs 38, the Shelby Golden Lions 34.
And how come Kings Mountain beat them the way they did? Because Kings Mountain's defensive line. Mm-hmm. They kept Mooney pretty much on his back the whole game. Not the whole game, but and plus, you got to use your running game too. So Burns,
but Shelby's not going to do that.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's why Kings Mountain was so successful against Burns, because they just stopped them. Burns couldn't do anything. They could run the ball, but they just couldn't move it down the field like they wanted to. So Great game up there tonight at in Lawndale. So next game, Kings Mountain. You want to go that way, Dennis? Is that the last column?
Let's save that for last. Let's go bottom up here.
Okay.
Since I've already
you want to talk? You've mentioned Roberson about 20 times. So who'd you pick, Roberson and Franklin?
Well, I got Roberson 24 and Franklin 34.
I thought he picked Frank. Yeah, I was gonna say he picked Franklin. I want to make sure we do it.
So I don't. I'm gonna say Franklin wins that one.
I'm just ahead of my time.
Ahead of your time. All right. Well, we do know these other teams. South Caldwell comes in at 4-5. They started out on fire this year. They had a really good start, but then they've sort of slowed down here at the end. They're playing at High Brighton. High Brighton's another one. They started out slow, but now they've caught fire here at the end. They're also at 4-5. It's a big game for that conference. Probably the winner will get a second place. I'm trying to think who's in first in that conference.
Which one?
In the South Caldwell and High Brighton conference. I can't remember who's in first.
I'll look at it in a second.
But anyway, so one of the winners that put themselves in a pretty good position. The loser's probably going to be traveling in the playoffs. So if they make it, if the loser makes it, but I think High Brighton's going to be tough at home. I've got them winning 21-20 over South Caldwell.
We seem to be thinking alike here. I've got High Brighton at home winning 28-24.
All right, another big game for playoff purposes. Alexander Central coming in at 4-5 will be at Freedom, who is 5-4. Again, a Freedom win that gives them 6 wins. And if an Alexander Central wins, that puts them at 5-5. So this game's real important when it comes to the seedings. Again, where they are in their conference in the second or third place, whether they get a home game or not, possibly a home game or not. But I like Freedom at home because it's a different atmosphere up there. It's hard to go up there and win. Freedom 31, Alexander Central 21.
Ooh, we're thinking alike here, Shannon. I have Freedom winning 28-21. Love to have that stadium down in Cleveland County, because it's so big and we could put so many people in it, and you go up there and it's like, roaming an empty hall.
It is. It's that stadium and South Point's old stadium. They had that big home side, The South Point don't have it anymore, but I always like one of those concretes. Anyway, all right. So we're going next game will be Watauga, who is at 8-1. Will be at Ashe County, who's coming in at 3-6. I saw Watauga play up at Burns. Dennis and Watauga, as I mentioned before, they're very big. They're very physical. But they rely too much on that quarterback. He's really all they got. And I'm not saying that in a bad way because they've won 8 games. So they're not bad. But I think his last name's Green. But he's I think he'll be enough tonight to beat Ashe County. Ashe County will not be putting on any clinics tonight. Watauga 49, Ashe County 13.
Well, he may be the only thing I got, but he's the only thing they need. And speaking of clinics, Ashe County may want to take some of their players over to the clinic after the game. I've got it. Watauga 58 and Ashe County 14.
Okay. Next game will be North Iredale. We'll be traveling to West Iredale. And I remember typing this one up, trying to find it. And, here it is. North Iredale coming at 1-8, West Iredale 1-8. Yeah, heads or tails on this one. So North Iredale averaging 10, giving up 34. West Iredale's averaging 11 and giving up 34. Both teams have scored 306 points total this year, or they've given up 306 points total this year. This game is about as even as they come, and more with West Iredale because they're playing at home, 17-14.
17-14. And you had West Iredale winning that one?
Oh, yeah.
Well, since West Iredale's at home, I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to make it 21-20 West Iredale.
All right, we need to take a break. JP, come on back down the hallway. I think you can hear me down the hallway. When we come back, we've got just a few more games to predict. We'll finish up top 10 and more, and we'll tell you where to listen, how to listen to all the games tonight here. 5 broadcasts on ktcbroadcasting.com. Just go to the website. You click on the links to your favorite game. We'll be right back in just a few moments. ktcbroadcasting.com.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts, Christmas at at your fingertips.
It's the shopping event of the season, the Southern Christmas Show, November 10th through 20th at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Enjoy a winter wonderland and find the magic of the season with frosty decor galore. Plus, shop hundreds of booths to find one-of-a-kind gifts for everyone on your list. Buy early and save on tickets at SouthernChristmasShow.com.
Let's go to the Southern Christmas Show.
When you find yourself in the middle of a tough custody battle or a divorce you didn't expect, you don't need surprises. Call Calder and Valentine, 704-470-2440. Listen to what one customer said. Blake is wonderful. He does an amazing job taking care of clients. He kept my children's best interest at heart the entire time. I could not have asked for a better legal experience. I highly recommend, if you want a family law attorney who truly cares, Blake and the Calder and Valentine team is who you need to call. He is so kind and hardworking. That's CalderandValentine.com, now serving all of Gaston County, 704-470-2440.
Nobody does ribs like Fats Cafe in Shelby. If you love ribs, you'll love Fats Cafe in Shelby. Right now, get 1 pound of ribs and a baked potato for just $9.99. Offer good only on orders to go. But come on in for their Thursday all-you-can-eat in-house ribs for just $14.99. That's right, all-you-can-eat ribs for $14.99. Each and every Thursday at your Shelby Fats Cafe, 1235 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Check out the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday after 4 p.m. specials at Love's Fish Box in Kings Mountain. On Tuesday, it's Alaskan whitefish with all the trimmings for $7.99. On Wednesdays, it's beef tips with choice of potato and salad for $10.95. And on Thursday, it's an 8-ounce hamburger steak with choice of potato for $7.99. And don't forget about their daily lunch specials too. Love's Fish Box, 1104 Shelby Road in Kings Mountain, open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m.
Built upon a solid foundation of cast iron and steel, the Kubota L-Series is part of our under 100 horsepower tractor lineup rated #1 for reliability. They feature powerful Kubota diesel engines and easy operation. The durable Kubota L-Series. Talk to your local Kubota dealer today to schedule a demo. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Your Kubota dealer is Parker Farm Service, located at 126 Bessie Drive on Oak Grove Road at the Highway 74 bypass in Kings Mountain.
Hey, I'm Danny Blanton, running for Cleveland County Board of Education. Your voice. Go vote for Danny Blanton. Always remember Danny Blanton. Our teachers and our students come first. I will be transparent with the taxpayers. I will vow to closely monitor and spending and asking questions to get answers for our taxpayers. I believe that our curriculum should be personalized to meet individual students' needs, including preparing them for the entry to the workforce. Being a leader sometimes requires making difficult decisions. I will approach them with common sense and protect our teachers and our children to the best of my ability for our students and staff.
This announcement paid for by Friends to Re-elect Danny Blanton, Cleveland County School Board. Early voting begins October 20th, with the general election set for November 8th. Go vote, Danny Blanton, Cleveland County School Board.
And we're back on the Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby pregame show with Shannon, Dennis, and Kevin. Once they get their mics on, they'll finish talking about football.
We like to see how long a rope he can hang himself, but he does sometimes pretty bad. Welcome back, everybody. That's JP. JP, say hello to you folks. Give a something there. Hey, everybody. Ladies. Single.
They're yeah. I doubt there are any ladies out there that want to date this. I guarantee you that.
JP, that is not the first step in success.
Gotta have confidence.
Yes, I know. I'm just kind of giving up on that one.
Say, there's some ladies out there that would like to shine that head of yours right there. All right, we'll be.
Yeah.
But he's a vampire.
Love you, JP.
His bite is worse than his bark.
All right, football. All right, we'll let you two finish up real quick. JP is
okay.
He got a haircut. He's nice and shiny in there.
Yeah,
I like it. He doesn't look like the Grizzly Man anymore. Looks like somebody's actually paying him to show up at the radio station. Right, JP?
You paying him?
Yeah, well,
No.
Fats is paying him some cheeseburger here in a little bit.
A 4-decker, no doubt.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's finish it up.
All right, so Dennis, we're at Fred T. Ford at 0-9. We'll be going to St. Stephen's, who is 3-6. This game shouldn't be too hard for St. Stephen's, even though they have lost their last 4 games. They're another one of these teams that started out, pretty good, but fell off the map. They'll win tonight. St. Stephen's 35, Ford 6.
Well, Fred T. Ford, diesel is going to be rare in the next few weeks. Save yours and don't even go over there. Just forfeit, because St. Stephen's is going to beat you 34-0.
All right, Statesville at 6-3 will be traveling to Hickory 7-2. Another big game in that conference. Statesville comes in on a 4-game winning streak. They're averaging 21, giving up 16. They're a young team, and they seem to have found their groove. Hickory comes in winners of their last 5 games. They're averaging 36, giving up 24. The Red Tornadoes, led by Isaiah Lackey and quarterback Brady Strober, who's averaging 215 yards in the air. They got the turf field up there. I think Hickory's got the big home field advantage, and I think it'll be a close game, but Hickory wins 28-21 over Statesville.
Well, you know what happens when a tornado goes through a trailer park? That's what's going to happen tonight when Hickory goes through Statesville, and they're going to beat them by a score of 38-13.
Usually you don't see greyhounds in the trailer park, though.
No, unless they're tied on a chain.
Well, that's
they're more like pit bulls.
Pit bulls, yeah. All right, so North Lincoln Knights at 5-4 will be traveling to East Lincoln, who is undefeated at 9-0, one of those teams we talked about earlier. For the past few years, I mentioned this before, this has been one of the top games of the year in this conference. But this year's a rebuilding year for the Knights, but they've come a long way since the struggle at the beginning of the season. Averaging 22, they're giving up 19. Quarterback Connor Carson, and they have running back Cody Morris, who's averaging 119 yards on the ground. East Lincoln comes in averaging 43, as Kevin mentioned a while ago. They're only giving up 4 points a game. Quarterback Tyler Mizell, he's averaging just under 200 yards a game. He has 26 touchdowns, and they have a running back, Christopher Daly. He's averaging 106 yards a game, and they're playing at home. East Lincoln is a entirely different team at home. East Lincoln 42, North Lincoln 7.
Well, I hate to break it to North Lincoln. They've got a nice stadium over there. They've got a beautiful new turf. This isn't their year, though.
No.
East Lincoln Mustangs, it is their year, and we're going to see that when playoff seedings are announced. But I've got the East Lincoln Mustangs cruising 48-10 over North Lincoln tonight.
All right. It'll be interesting to see what North Lincoln does next year. If they are a young team, they're not bad this year, but finish on a high note. South Point Red Raiders at 8-1 we will be traveling to North Gaston, who is winless at 0-9. South Point comes in giving ready for the playoff run. The Red Raiders are averaging 36 points per game, giving up 14. Patrick Blees averaging 89 yards, on the ground. They have a running back, Cam Medlock, who's averaging 131 on the ground. North Gaston comes in averaging 7 points a game. This, again, one of these games that should probably already over. South Point 56, North Gaston 6.
Wait a minute. You've been looking at my results again, Shannon. I've got them 52-6.
Okay, 52-6, South Point. They're getting ready for the playoffs, no doubt. Stuart Kramer, this is going to be an interesting game. 4-5 at Forest View at 3-6. Stuart Kramer probably has the better chance of getting in the playoffs with a win, but a loss will put them tied with Forest View, then we have a whole nother can of worms there to figure out. Stuart Kramer comes in averaging 29. They're giving up 35. They're led by quarterback Justin Rockamore. This could be his last game in his Stuart Kramer career with a loss. He's averaging 218 yards in the air, and he's rushing for 54 yards a game. Forest View, they're only averaging 9 points a game. They're giving up 31. I'm going to take Stuart Kramer here, 35-10 over Forest View.
Ooh. Well, Rockamore is going to rock on, but it's going to be close. They're going to win tonight, 28-24.
Okay. And 2 more games here. The Hunter Huskies at 3-6 will be traveling to Ashbrook, also at 3-6. The bottom line for this game is the winner keeps the slim hope of a playoff berth alive while the other one gets ready for basketball. Husk comes in averaging 17, giving up 31. Ashbrook comes in averaging 21, giving up 23. I think the main factor for this game will be the Ashbrook running back, Carmelo Bess. If he has a good game, Ashbrook wins easily. But, if he don't, that's where Husk can, they've got that quarterback. I think he's all they have, really. I can't remember his name now, but anyway, if I think it's a lot easier to. I think Best will have an easier time to rush through Huss versus Huss going through the Ashbrook defense, because Ashbrook is a big team. So I've got Ashbrook winning 35-20 over Huss, and they win in the Bell game down there.
All right. Well, let's ring that bell for Ashbrook tonight. They're going to win 24-14 over Hunter Huss. And speaking of basketball, Sleepy Floyd's not there anymore, so they may have trouble with that too.
Sleepy Floyd versus James Worthy, right?
Yeah.
That's right. So final game tonight, the big one in Cleveland County in the 3A, Kings Mountain Mountaineers coming in at 9-0 will be traveling to the Crest Chargers, who are at 7-2. Again, just like Burns and Shelby's the top 2A game, this is one of the top 3A games in the state. If Kings Mountain wins, they're probably going to be the number one seed, or they will be the number one seed out of the conference, probably the number one seed throughout the entire playoffs. Mountaineers are led by quarterback Lamont Littlejohn, who's averaging 177 in the air, and they have a stable of running backs, Dennis, led by Teddy Jeffries and Caleb Holland. They're averaging 41 points a game. They're giving up 12 points a game. We mentioned this off the air. They don't have that one big superstar that they've had in years past. They are all just good players, and they play together, and they do very well. Crest comes in averaging also 41 points a game. They're giving up 22 a game. The Chargers led by quarterback Natavius Husky, who is having a phenomenal year. I think he could be one of the players of the year in that conference, even with a win or loss. He's had an outstanding year for Crest in a new offense with a new coach, and he's shined very brightly for them. He's averaging 253 yards a game. He has 29 touchdowns, and then their wide receivers, Jabari Green and Malachi Addison. Also, that's his targets he goes to. Running back Aiden Carson is also there as well. I think this game, Dennis, as I mentioned before in the other one, I'm not going to pick a score in this one, but I think what this game is going to prove, has Crest gotten better, because they only have 5 seniors on this team.
Yes.
And so basically you're seeing the team that you're seeing tonight, you're going to see them next year, and that's going to be scary. I was going to go ahead and say that now. So can they, with this younger team, quote unquote, can they continue to do what they've been doing all year? Can they be a big physical Kings Mountain team? Can Crest offensive line stop that defensive line from Kings Mountain? And that's going to be easier said than done, because those 4 guys from Kings Mountain are absolutely tremendous. And so that's going to be the key to this game.
Well, I think if we could go back and play the tape of the early season, you would find out that we said that this is sort of a rebuilding year for Crest. Got a new coach, got to get his system in, got to learn the plays. He's got to figure out who can do what and where to play them and how to play them and all that kind of stuff. They've had an outstanding year getting to the point that they are at this time with their record. And I will caution all the schools in this conference. The next 4 years, Crest is going to be loaded. It's going to be the old Crest. Yeah. They're going to play their hearts out tonight. And I know Greg Lloyd. He was an outstanding defensive back at Crest. He has a lovely wife, Beth. Their son is playing. He's been through some difficulties, but things are all straightened out. This is the year for Kings Mountain to make their mark and for Greg to finally get over the hump and win in the playoffs. But he's got to get through tonight as the number 1 seed. My heart is with the Chargers. My head is with the Mountaineers. Crest 42, Kings Mountain 48.
Shootout down at the corral.
And
so,
that offensive line and defensive line of Kings Mountain will be the difference.
Well, the thing, a lot of people may not realize this too, that doesn't follow these two teams. The past 2 years, Crest has won. They've beaten Kings Mountain, and that won them the conference championship the past 2 years. But again, those 2 games were actually played at Kings Mountain.
Yes.
So now you're playing at Crest. Can Crest just make it 3 in a row? It's going to be tough. This is going to be an interesting ball game. It's going to be a very good ball game. So if you're going, hope you're already there. If not, you don't have a place to park. Number 1, you don't have a seat. Number 2,
it's messed up parking. I'll warn you ahead of time. Visitors, you can go over to the visitor sides, and if you're handicapped, pull up next to the fence. Yeah. They'll accommodate you. If you're on the Crest side, it's a little tougher to find a parking space. Look who we got here, Kevin Jr., Who you picking? Crest or Kings Mountain?
You gonna say something? You can say Bulldogs, Mountaineers, Crest. Only thing we can say right now is goo.
Oh, you made him cry.
And then I make him cry.
Yeah.
So this is Baron Lewis. He's back this week to say hello for the folks at home. He's ready to dive in some fats dinner here in a little bit. You want some ribs, son?
No.
Yeah. No ribs.
He wants Mama,
Nice
and I don't blame him. And the good thing for him is he looks like Mama.
He does. He does look like mom.
You take him. We'll get him back on the show in a minute. All right, guys. So are all the picks in?
We've got them all down.
So
did we get Roberson? Did you get Roberson pick?
Which one, Robertson or Roberson?
Good Lord. This week's broadcast, let's go over these real quick. Kings Mountain and Crest tonight, WHS 101.5 FM, 1390 AM, KTCBroadcasting.com. North Lincoln at East Lincoln, LincolnCounty.com, YouTube.com, KTCBroadcasting.com. Then we'll have, let's see, on WAGY tonight. We'll wait for the folks at home to see the artwork to come through, and I'll talk about what's on the show. Of course, Red Zone Channel is coming up next, 7:30 to 9:30. Dennis, we'll have some fun tonight. Should have 2, maybe even 3 broadcasts, plus 3 or 4 more highlights from other teams. We're going to have a good time tonight with that.
We might even have a couple clips from, say, that Crest and Kings Mountain game from somewhere, free.
Cherryville and Bessemer City tonight. Danny Aker, Matt Chapman, 1590 AM, 92.9 FM, WCSL. Chase and RS Central tonight on WAGY, WAGYFM.com, 107.5 FM in Cleveland County and Rutherford County. And then, of course, folks, watch Shelby and Burns tonight. Game of the week on YouTube, KTCBroadcasting.com. And, of course, like we just said a minute ago, listen to Kings Mountain and Crest. All right, we're about to wrap it up here at the show. Bit of great pregame show. Good to see everybody again. The Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby, North Carolina Prep Football pregame show. It's time for dinner from Fats Cafe.
Yum,
and,
eat 'em up.
And some cake and ice cream and cupcake. I don't know if they brought me ice cream. They brought cake tonight.
That's
we got
right,
cake.
it's your birthday.
We got cake.
Birthday cake.
It is my birthday. And we got a
Happy
special
birthday.
guest singer tonight, Shannon. You're going to have to tune into the postgame show.
Steve DeGree's not
Special
going to sing, is he?
guest
Is it going to be,
singer.
what's his name? Boykins? It ain't Will. is
Will.
it?
We're gonna turn this into choir night here.
Will used to be
Is
a
he bringing his
choir.
choir?
Kanye's calling in, and we're going to turn this into a choir night
That's
here.
yay. It's yay.
Yay or yee or...
You got to get with it, Kevin. It's yay.
He's calling in. He got nothing
He had
else to
one
do.
job.
So
That's
he's
right.
joined the postgame show.
Since he's a Republican now, it's yay.
All right. So, JP, are you ready in there? Play us away. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Witherspoon Insurance of Shelby pregame show on KTCBroadcasting.com.
You've been asking for them. Now you've got them. The new white kitchen cabinet. But that's
the incredible man. I only do things incredible can. Cause I am the seed of a chosen breed. You don't see too many like me. Cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do. When you wanna be me instead of you. Cause I